Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today we are taking a look at some bit holders. We have a Makita bit holders, a Wiha bit holder, we have two Wera bit holders, Milwaukee, Bosch, and of course you see here there are different types of bit holders. Specifically what I kind of want to focus on is the Wera Impaktor. I just recently got this probably a month ago, and I want to kind of compare and contrast it to some of the other bit holders on the market. So as you know, the market is flooded with different types of impact bit holders. This is a really popular style of bit holder that's on the market now. It's really just, you know, your bare bones bit adapter, and it's magnetic. This is Makita's XPS impact bit holder. And then you have, this is Milwaukee's basically version of the same thing. The good thing about these is there's very few moving parts. They generally are going to have a ring, a retaining ring, in addition to the magnet that's in there. And both of these types of bit holders are extremely magnetic. So we look at that one and the Makita. The Makita has a really strong magnet as well. So that's the advantage of having these. And then I've been using the Makita a lot just because I like the profile of it. And they do have longer ones. I think they have a 3-inch version. This is the 2-inch, and then they have a 6-inch and a 12-inch version. And I have this one, and I have a 6-inch version. And I really am digging the XPS bit holder. This is my, not this one particular, but using the XPS, my 6-inch adapter is my everyday adapter that I use in my impact gun. This is an old bit adapter I had from back in the day when I used to do installations for security companies. These are available by several different companies. But the cool thing about these sleeve bit holders is when you have a long fastener and you're trying to reach your fastener in a place, maybe you got to stretch out and reach something, and you know you got to be able to steady that screw as you're driving it in. And a lot of times what will happen is when you're driving it, you'll slip off the screw. So what happens is if you use this sleeve here, that gives it more stability, so that way even if you're wobbling a little bit, you won't come off of the screw. And of course, as you're turning, the sleeve stays stationary while the bit adapter is screwing. So it also can protect as well as give you some extra hold on your bit, especially using longer screws with it. And of course, as you're driving your screw in, it basically retracts back to where it was. These are really handy. The negative about these sleeve type of bit holders is how long they are. They're generally much longer than the bit holders you typically see today. Several different companies makes these sleeve type of adapters, and all of them are generally about the same size, which is, let's actually measure it, over 3 inches. Fully extended, it's probably, yeah, close to 5 inches. So yeah, these are generally much longer. And then you have these locking adapters. And of course, what these are good for, obviously, so we push our bit in there, the bit is secure, it's not going anywhere. So what happens a lot of times nowadays is the tolerances on especially these Phillips drive bits are so small and so precise that oftentimes your bit can actually get stuck in the screw and pull out. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been on a ladder and been screwing a screw in, and my bit would get stuck, pull out of the adapter, and then my bit would fall, and then I have to go back to the truck to try to find another Phillips bit or, you know, whatever bit I was, you know, using before, because I just lost my other one because it came out of the adapter. So Wiha has, this is their version of it, which, like I said, locks. And then how you let it go is you kind of pull this sleeve down, pops it out, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're ready to go. And then, of course, Wera has the Rapidapter, which is virtually the same concept. It's a locking adapter. and has great magnetism. I will say that Wiha's magnet in their bit holders, the ones at least that I have, literally have no magnetism at all. It's pitiful. So you're not going to get much magnetism with the Wiha bit holders. So back to the Rapidapter, it's the same concept. You know, you have this adapter, it locks it in, that bit's not going anywhere. Now for Wera, the Rapidapter is not impact rated. So this is not an adapter you're going to want to put in your impact driver and be going to town with it. That is why they have their impact line of bit adapters. So this is the Impactor. This bit adapter is it's very unique because it's kind of like taking this-ish, kinda. It's not real similar to this, but it has that sleeve like this does. However, this has a magnetic ring around the rim. And what that basically gives you is a really, really good hold on your screw. So there it is. So that's what it looks like. So you get your screw, you have your magnet on the end, and that sucker is not going anywhere. It doesn't matter what I do. That is literally not going anywhere. It's a really, really strong magnet, and it works really well. And the cool thing about it is whenever you're driving, if you're over driving, it won't cam out the screw or shred up your bit because the sleeve will actually retract. Now, the downside to this design specifically is the type of bits that you can put in it. So right here we have a 8mm hex or Allen drive bit. It works with even the sleeve bit, but you have, I mean, if you go any more than that, it's probably not going to work with this sleeve type bit. And probably having a screw in there, you're probably really not going to be able to get it to work. Obviously, it's going to work in these really simple design bit holders that you get from DeWalt, Makita, Milwaukee. Now, if you go to try to use that with the Impactor, watch what happens. You can use it like this, but you cannot use the magnet because it's too big around. The circumference of the magnet is smaller than the actual tip of the bit. So if you try to use your magnet, you're just kind of pushing it out and it's no longer seated in the bit holder. You're just basically pushing it out of the way. Another negative that I noticed with this adapter as well is there's a little bit of play here. And sometimes what'll happen is when you pull the magnet out, it'll actually pull the bit off center. So when we have the magnet down, you can see that the bit is center. Now watch what happens when the magnet comes up. It pulls the bit off center. That hasn't affected me using it, like actually using it, but that is something that I wanted to note. And another thing, of course, that I want to note is I'm sure you all know, anybody that has any kind of accessory kits, the Torx bits, the fit is always generally very, very loose on the fastener. So if you don't have something, you know, holding that bit to the screw, or if you don't have two hands, you're not going to be able to screw that fastener in. Now, it helps when you have a magnet, but even then, it's still the same issue. So it holds better, but I mean, look how wobbly it is. I mean, it's just barely holding on. So if I wanted to come at this from the side, I mean, it's really, really wobbly. So it's not holding it really, really well. And I mean, I've used this with Torx screws, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've tried to screw these into something. Your arm's tired, and maybe you can't keep it right on target, and the screw just keeps on falling out and falling out. So that can be a bummer with these type of bits. So having that magnetic sleeve or even this sleeve is definitely a benefit, because you can use your sleeve to hold the screw, especially if you're screwing outward. So it kind of keeps you on track a little better. I have noticed that the impactor of all of these actually holds the Torx screws the best. Definitely holds it better than the other ones. Let's try to go a little. That's about what you need to get a screw started. All right, let's see if we can shoot some screws into this wood. Nicely done. Pull your screw out, and bam, you got it right there. So I was going to use the Bosch, but check this out. The sleeve won't fit over top. The sleeve won't fit over the screw. That's a bummer. All right, here's the Wiha locking bit adapter. I have to hold this with two hands, otherwise the screw is just gonna fall off. That's the shitty thing about this one. So unless you have two hands, this bit adapter won't work for you. Here's the Makita XPS, and as you can see, because of the strength of the magnet, it's holding the screw. This is a 3 1/8 inch GRK. You can even pull it out. And it stays attached, even though it's I mean, look, you can obviously see it's not a super tight fit whatsoever, but because the magnet is so strong, it hangs onto the screw. All right, here's the Milwaukee Shockwave bit adapter. Let's see how that holds. I would imagine that would be about like the Makita. Magnet isn't quite as strong. Damn. And it retains the screw. That time it didn't. There we go. So yeah, the Shockwave, it's about like the XPS, except for it's a little bulkier, and I don't think the magnet is as strong. All right, let's check out the Rapidapter. The Rapidapter does have a super strong magnet, but as you can tell, I'm not using it in an impact driver. You can use it in a drill, but it's not impact rated. I was saying, with Torx bits, I think the impactor could be really handy, because most of the Torx bits I ever use, none of them fit particularly well. I mean, they don't fit like a Phillips drive screw would. For instance, here's a Shockwave Phillips drive, and I could try and shove that into a Torx screw. I can shove that in there and I can hold that upside down and it'll hold. You can't do that with, I don't care who makes the Torx bit, you're not going to do that with any Torx bits that I know of on the market, unless you have, that's just because it's magnetized. But even that, let's take it out of its holder. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to fit like a Phillips drive would. See, the tolerance on Phillips drive has to be so precise because they cam out so easy. You don't have to have that same precision with Torx because they have so many more contact points that the fit doesn't have to be perfect. But what that leads to is oftentimes when you're working with these longer fasteners, having to use two hands to get the screw started. Now, once you get it started, you're fine. But getting it started is the problem. So you don't have that same precise fit as what you do with Phillips drive. With that being said, this adapter in particular is extremely heavy. I mean, it's probably, I'd say it's probably 3 times heavier than the XPS bit. It's really heavy, really bulky, really big around. Is it a good adapter? It definitely is a good adapter. But I don't know if it's worth paying $20 for. This is how much this costs on Amazon. And another thing, look at where it says Wera. That is just print screen on this little piece of plastic here. That is not going to hold up with any significant amount of use. And you can already tell that the logo is starting to come off. So that's another thing about this. Now, do you have to have the logo on there? No, it just needs to work good. But I will say this, when it comes to driving the longer Torx screws like these GRKs, having that little feature is really, really nice. That's all that I have for you guys today. I definitely want to thank you all for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy content like this. And I also want to mention, I am also now going to have affiliate links for Amazon as well as KC Tools. So if you guys are looking for a specific tool or accessory, you can look on both kctool.com and Amazon, and I'll have both of those links in the description, and you can compare the price and the availability of products. So I want to make sure you guys get the best price if you're going to use my affiliate links. So I will definitely have that down there for you. Other than that, I appreciate you guys stopping by. I will see you on the next one. Peace.